Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation. We're going to be bringing you guys a game between Artyk and Na'Vi. This is a best of 3 series for the We Play Losers Bracket to decide who's going to be in the second and third positions, who's going to be advancing, and so on and so forth. But yeah, this is part of the We Play Dota 2 Cup. I am Blaze, here with LD, having an awesome time casting up these games here. So what do you think about that last one?
10 seconds remaining.
Hopefully he's on in here.
5 seconds
Might be muted.
remaining.
No big deal either way. So, moving on into the draft here. Really interesting game. I kind of guess I can just give a synopsis that it was really so close for Artyk. They could have gotten a comeback, but the problem was the fights just weren't there. They had first blood given away in a really bad skirmish, and that started them off on the wrong foot. From there, although they had a lot of track goal coming on through for their team, the carries were just shy of being at a point where they could easily directly contest things. And instead, on the other hand, Na'Vi playing extremely well. Great refresher, double polarity to end out the game. But yeah, I mean, different things like the Ethereal Blade on the Lina definitely came into play as well. So anyways, going on to this next game, looks like we have LD here. What's going on, man? And what do you think about the last one?
I think Ethereal Blade on Lina will do it a pinch, and I think not the best performance of Navi's lives, perhaps, but what I was saying in the chat, and I maintain this, is if you look at pro sports, if you look at, I mean, pretty much any competitive team-based game, you're going to have off days, you're going to have days where you show up and you don't really perform like a well-oiled machine, whether you're Na'Vi, even IG, I mean, even Invictus Gaming, the best team in the world. Look at how they came out versus Zenith in the G1 League. They came out flat in Game 2. They got greedy with their draft. They got punished for it. Sure, they pulled it together, won the series. But my point is, at the end of the day, good teams are not defined by their performances when they're on firing on all cylinders. It's also by the fact that when your backs are up against the wall, when you're not playing well, you find a way to win. And that's what we saw from Na'Vi. A shitty performance, all things considered. They found a way to win. I think Dendy was mentioning in the pregame chat as well that, well, USC is maybe not the best for Blink skewering. I can say from personal experience when I play in Southeast Asia as Magnus, Blink skewering is extremely hard, so I imagine that might have factored in that game. Blink RP isn't so bad, and for the most part his reverse polarities were on point, but they're going to go for the mag again anyway, even with the delay. It's not like Artyk have better ping, so I'm not saying ping is an excuse for Na'Vi, but on certain heroes it matters more than other. Either way, Artyk, similar opening for them. They're going to start with the Lifestealer.
Yeah, they really love that lifestyle as a carry. It's one of those highest respected carries in the field in general, whether the Asian scene, the South American scene, even the North American and European scene. Everybody really is kind of coming to their own, realizing that Lifestealer is probably one of the most powerful carries in the game, and as such really want to take them off the board for the enemy as well as pick them up for themselves. However, Na'Vi drafting up against it extremely well. We see the Magnus and the Bane come out, perfect counter picks here, along with that the Lone Druid to go and they kind of have a yin-yang relationship. The Feast on the Bear is really powerful, and he can technically rage out of the entangles, but if he is raged up and that entangle goes on through, there's not much for him to do in that position there. So either way, really
there's a big difference this game though. Artyk have Rubik, so you have RP. You may even get 2 RPs, but don't be surprised if we get one of our own. This is something that Na'Vi have to be pretty worried about. They do get the Bane on their side, which is a nice way to potentially deal with the Lifestealer. We saw how effective Bane can be at stopping carries, but the fact that Artyk has Rubik makes me feel that they have a little bit more of a shot in this game if they don't do particularly well in the laning stage. I'm interested to see if they stick to their formula. It's been, for them, every game, Blaze, aggressive tri-lane and 2 solos. Will they do it again here after how the last tri-lane went? I guess we'll find out. But off the bat, I would say they could if they want to, but it's not the strongest tri-lane with these 3 heroes. They have lots of setup, kind of light on damage.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to have to get a little bit more follow-through, but I think that that's the 4th and 5th picks is a great opportunity for them to select that there. The ban's coming on out. Right now, Na'Vi doesn't have a hard carry per se, with Funnick being the primary user of that Lone Druid. We would be looking at something for Havos, such as the Luna, the Gyrocopter, the Phantom Lancer. He might just, opt for something like a good fallback like his Anti-Mage. I mean, that can be rather powerful, but against a mana leak, it's not always going to be the best option. Either way, we see Artyk picking up an interesting pick that a lot of teams don't seem to draft very often, but Artyk has drafted multiple times throughout these past few series here. The Brewmaster, a lot of potential, especially up against that Lone Druid. Admiral Bulldog always talks about how it really screws over the bear when you go ahead and just drop that Drunken Haze on top of him, giving him a mischance, and it really, if you can disable him, if you can throw it up in the air with the tornado, all those good things, it really eliminates that threat during that portion of the team fight.
Yeah, and I would actually say Artyk have arguably the stronger team fight. Now, assuming they either steer reverse polarity or something like Light Strike Array, even as one of the betas disables, could be pretty big.
Sure.
I like the way Artyk's draft has developed. I still feel they need more physical damage, so a secondary carry here would be key. They've banned out most of the ones they would want to go for. They were actually the ones to ban out PL, which I find a little curious when Na'Vi already had Magbane Lone Druid. I mean, you could pick up a PL with this lineup, but I don't really think it's something that Na'Vi would be particularly likely to do. And for Artyk, not going to go for another carry, so it's a one-position lifestealer now. Yes, he has Inner Beast. Yes, he potentially has Empower if Rubik steals that, or at least just a lot of help along the way from a good crowd control team. But he's a one-position lifestealer with no other physical damage sources against a Magnus and a Bane, so as well as Entangle. So between all of those ults that go through Magic Community, they don't even have something like Shadow Demon to disrupt him if he gets in trouble. I really worry for this lifestealer. His positioning has to be pristine, because without him in the mid-game, there is just no physical damage, and pretty much nothing Artyk can do to take down a hero like Lone Druid. And Na'Vi, they get the Healing Ward Lone Druid combo. So big push, big 5-man strength, and for Artyk, it's just up to this lifestealer. If he has a good start, if he's not dying, I think they'll do fine. But if Na'Vi are able to focus him, they'll be in trouble.
But it's very difficult to put all your eggs in one basket up against a Bane because of that Fiend's Grip, because of the lockdown from either Nightmare or just the Enfeeble. I think that a lot of it also has to do with how well Smash does, not only up against in the 1v1, but when he starts ganking. If he can start steamrolling, if he can start getting some big kills and follow through and maybe pick up a relatively early Blink Ags type combination, he really can contribute so much to the team fight in damage, in disable, everything along those lines. But it's difficult, and they're going to have to put a lot of focus on here. Based on the heroes and the players, I believe that Mihawk's going to be running the Beastmaster on the off lane, and they would defensively try the Lifesteal, the Rubik, and the Keeper. As I say, pretty much every draft for these guys, it seems like they could go for the aggressive tri-lane, but you don't want to do that up against a Juggernaut, and you don't want to do that in a position where you are going to be putting your lifestealer in harm's way, because as you said, he is number one. He is the only one that can get that farm, and if they do end up going towards the bottom lane, as they do seem to be, it might be a little bit too risky. But for right now,
I think they kind of have to send their Beastmaster to the safe lane, because think about it this way. Can't really lane well against Lone Druid if Lone Druid's a side lane, which you would assume, although Funnick is apparently maybe heading top. Can't really lane 1v1 well against the Lone Druid as it is, especially if he's off lane. If he gets to the tri-lane, he's just going to die. So sending the Beastmaster to the off lane, yes, we've seen it before, but I think pretty much going to guarantee a very delayed level 6. This is odd, though. They're tri-laning the Brewmaster. That's not that strange. That's actually a pretty decent tri-lane. But what's weird about it is the lifesteal, again, the one position hero for this team, a team that needs physical damage later on to deal with Na'Vi. Between Juggernaut having Blade Fury, between the Healing Ward, Lone Druid's natural tankiness, you need you need this lifestealer to be fat as hell. Like the fattest hard carry build you can get as this goes mid-game, unless you just crush the lanes, which Na'Vi have a good enough lineup. I don't think they'll do it. He's soloing top right now, so obviously they expect it to be something like a solo Lone Druid, which is still a hard matchup, but doesn't look like they're going to get that.
Yeah, this could be very, very bad for them. I honestly, just speaking frankly, do not like this laning situation for them. It's just really, really risky. And in this situation here where Na'Vi is putting the pressure out, it could completely screw out IWell. If he maxes out Feast in a 1v1 matchup against a Lone Druid, he's going to be able to come out on top, but Funnick's not bothering with that. He's going on the mid lane here up against that Beastmaster. So Mihawk and Funnick meeting once again, but under completely different terms. This will be a pretty interesting matchup, but as we said, it just doesn't bode well whatsoever for the Lifestealer.
Well, the good news is they should do pretty well against Dendy. He's been pulled some regen here, sitting on a set of tangos from Puppey and trying to save for that early bottle. He's not going to be able to do much against this tri-lane. He can at least get some levels, but that's about it. As for mid lane, obviously a lane that Funnick's going to dominate because it's Lone Druid versus a melee hero, but it's a Beastmaster. It's mid. It's not on a side lane, so I think they'll have a bit better luck just because he can bottle Crow, he can get Inner Beast, spam the Axes top lane. Any second now, we could see Ewo getting caught here, and there's the stun.
Light Strike Array to start it off, but yeah, they're just not going to be able to follow up with that much damage. One thing to mention is Kurokai's damage is a little bit shorter, 400 range, and Puppey's is a bit delayed, long attack animations on the Lina, so there's also honestly not that much follow-up, but they can still Nightmare into Light Strike Array. There's no window of time where he can rage on out of that, and there's still going to be that burst there. We actually see a smoke about to be dispelled. Mystico does get some vision on top of Kurokai, knows exactly where he is, and it looks like they didn't misjudge the landing situation. They go for the Light Strike Ray onto Rubik. Really good LSA, but can they follow it up? There goes the Nightmare. They're going to block off his exits, and from here, dish out some damage. One range creep joins the party, but otherwise that second stun coming on through is really what it's all about. Brain Sap, there is the damage, but nice telekinesis, stunning out the secondary so that they can actually both not get too much, but with this last Light Strike Ray, it's going to be the first blood. Oh my gosh, 3 Light Strike Rays in a row. Puppey really on the ball with this one.
Okay, so they have an Observer Ward here, but look at what this ward sees. That was like a good 4 seconds of just pure anticipation and guesswork from Puppey. That mental clock, very accurate, tuned like a Swiss watch. And here we go mid, more rotation. Could be trouble here for Mihawk. If he gets slept, he's dead.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to go for that, trying to slow him down with the Orb of Venom a little bit, but he is just going to be scared off and not going to have too much chance. So it looks like we're going to see a little bit of roaming coming out of Puppey and Kurokai. Putting a little pressure now down on towards bottom, helping Dundee out is their intention. And no, it's actually just going to be covering up the rune for the moment. Going back and forth, Mihawk will be able to get that double damage rune, but right now it looks like they're going to be able to continuously put this damage out and force him back once again. Yeah,
he's copying a lot of harass. Again, for Na'Vi, their lineup is not the same as Artyk's. They leave Havost alone top. He won't get a whole lot out of this lane eventually. Once Lifestealer is something like Phase Boots, maybe they can zone him out. That's okay. He's not being asked to carry the game the way the Lifestealer was. So I think Na'Vi, it's totally fine and even preferable for them to just maximize their support, experience, and gold. Let Havost get what he can down top, and know that you always have the Lone Druid as your secondary damage source to fall back on. I think it's a really smart adjustment by Na'Vi, and this means Denny will get a little bit more. He's their key initiator, and with the supports here, should be able to get an earlier Blink Dagger Arcane Boots.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be very viable for Havost to survive extremely well. Like you said, when the Phase Boots come out, that might change, but for right now, he's got his Brown Boots, he's got the Stout Shield, the Salve, the Healing Ward. He's going to be able to sustain very nicely. A little bit of damage coming into Mihawk here. He's going to be forced back once again. Has a full bottle to work with, but this might force out the Crow once more, and that Snow can only move to so many different lanes at once, so just kind of roaming on about. We actually see a lot of aggression from Ewo in this position here. We'll take a couple of tower hits back and forth. So a lot of pressure coming on out, but really not too much accomplished as we see that Na'Vi is still holding strong.
If I'm Artyk, I'm not really sure why they're applying so much pressure to this late. I guess they want to take the tier 1 early, but I don't see them taking a tier 2. Hoping to force a rotation from Na'Vi. They do have the catapult, so they'll get the 1 tower most likely, but Havost is just going to get an easy level 5 off of this.
Oh, and take a on mid. Mihawk is going to drop very quickly. He gets the solo kill. It's big for Funnick. Back on top.
Oh, the courier.
Oh, he gets it.
Nope, courier able to get away in the end.
Sorry.
Barely at that. Had his boots. If that had died, that would have been so bad, because the Beastmaster with no boots for 2 minutes, it's almost like you want to buy an extra pair just so you have them for those 2 minutes. He'll be worthless without them, but he does live. But this is the problem, is now Lone Druid is 6. He's pushing the tower. You're not killing Havost top. He's getting experience, and the supports are coming back top.
Coming on through, tier 1 should drop very swiftly. The supports are coming, but it's just a little bit delayed. They have to pop out the fortification. It's in deny range now. They're contesting right here, right now. Rank 2 Skewer, rank 3 Shockwave going down on Mystic. A lot of damage going across, but Ewo just trying to finish off. Will the deny come through? He does. Dendi gets the deny, and now he was in a bad spot. The Skewer is available right now, cleaning up on the supports. First, the Rubik, but the switch comes over. Ewo does get hit by the Skewer. He is slowed down, and it should be enough for Dendi to kill him solo with this next Shockwave to come on out. One right click is all he needs, but he's salving away. Ewo on the run. He is going on through no man's land. Going to get pincered on in by this Panda Bear, by Funnick. Doesn't get the block, but he does get the slow from the Orb of Venom, and Ewo just too far. He's not going to be able to get this.
Cornered like a dog in a cage. They actually call him the little dog in China, the life stealer. And like a little dog, you put him in the crate. He's gonna have to get potty trained now, but Ewo dying. This guy can't die. He can't die. They need his damage. They need him to be very fat to win in the mid game. A 1 death maybe okay, but if he dies a few more times, they're just not gonna have anything to deal with him. And the thing is, here like Juggernaut doesn't need much to contribute to this team. He'll get his healing ward, he'll max Blade Fury. Funnick, look at the farm on this guy. Something big coming on the courier now, I believe. Yeah, completed Tranquil Boots already out, as well as boots for the bear. And 5.5 minutes in, it's not your world-beating farm, but it's a lot more than what Lifestealer is getting when he's sitting at the fountain and dying. So you got to say, tighten the bolts if you're Artyk, because otherwise you're in a lot of trouble come mid-game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think that Na'Vi wants to let up. They go for the smoke. They go for Kurkai and Puppey, trying to go for that dual gank train, just roaming on through, putting pressure out once again on Mihawk. If Mihawk doesn't get his roar soon, he's going to be screwed over. I mean, this is 6 minutes. He should be almost level 7 at this stage, and he's not even level 6. So they get an illusion rune. They're ready to go. And they're going to actually cross paths in just a moment if they go a little bit too far forward. So trying to bait it out, trying to force him down to the rune, but he's actually using his summons to detect it out instead.
I love that delicate dance. When you're smoked, you don't want to be revealed, but you want to make sure that you're ready to pounce and running back. Unfortunately, missed the opportunity there, won't find anything. So for Na'Vi, their supports haven't really been that effective this game, to be totally honest. A lot of roaming, not many kills being claimed, and it's not a bad situation for them by any means, but we would expect to see more. Brewmaster actually dies bottom. That's a huge kill, because he's the one who's been getting uncontested farm. The Aldi's core that hasn't died, and now we'll see a support die as well. 7-0, 2.5k gold lead, 4.5k experience lead for Na'Vi, but it feels like 1,000,000,001 just because of their lineup.
Exactly. So the roaming does actually come to a close where they can actually net a kill there. They commit the reverse polarity on the Brewmaster, then follow it up with a pretty easy support kill based on the presence of that Bane and that Luna. Do see back and forth on top lane that it is actually going to be the 2 carries that are pretty much farming away with no direct contest. So Juggernaut and Lifestealer 1v1. Ewo coming out on top of that a little bit, but as we've seen, it's not really adding up to all that much. He's only 40 GPM ahead of one of the carries that he's duking it out with, and the Lone Druid is far, far ahead of him. So in this position here, I can't say that he's really accomplishing too much just by even safely farming away.
Yeah, Dendi, meanwhile, already has his Arcane Boots well on the way to his Blink Dagger. We'll have a quick pause here, but once he gets his Blink, Na'Vi could just 5-man the towers. Healing Ward will be dropped. Sure, they're going to eat Illuminate, but Healing Ward is the answer to that, and the Lone Druid Bear anyway. Doesn't care that much about it, because, of course, he's very, very tanky. His HP pool is high enough that the Creep Wave will die, but the hero can still basically take the punishment, keep on going, can even resummon it if he needs. So once they have the Blink on Dendi, they have all the levels and items that they need on Na'Vi to just 5-man. Take the tier 1 mid, take the tier 1 bottom, and then go take the tier 1 top. And if you're Artyk, you have AoE, but you don't have any easy way to start the fight. You do have Roar, you have a Panda ult, but you really need a Blink Dagger on that Panda. You really need your Lifestealer to have his armlet so that you actually have enough follow-up damage to go through, quickly kill off the Healing Ward, kill the heroes. I don't really see Artyk being able to defend the outer towers. The tier 2s, yeah, because there will be backdoor protection, and the Creep Wave will die to the spam, but the tier 1's not really seeing it happening once we get to like the 12-15 minute mark. So that'll be the game plan for Na'Vi. And for Artyk, they got to find a way to get a Blink Dagger on the Panda. He's the only one who's even remotely close. The death on Smash there was huge. Would love to see a lane ward maybe behind the tower for Na'Vi, or at least something in the jungle, so they have a better idea if he's coming. Because without it, he's their hope for the mid game. In order for this Lifestealer to get the time to get fat, in order for them to fight the push that's coming, they've got to be able to get the Blink Dagger on the Panda. And right now, well, it's hard to find that farm being left alone in the off lane.
Exactly, exactly. And with all this roaming going around, you don't know when the next time you turn a corner, you're suddenly going to be met with not 1, not 2, but 3 opponents with ultimates at their ready to be able to bring you down. Because honestly, the successfulness of the Na'Vi's roaming has actually put them in a position where they're going to have the ultis pretty soon. They haven't been doing the neutral pulls or anything like that, so it has been a little bit delayed, but nevertheless, Laguna Blade is coming, same thing with the Fiend's Grip, and that's going to be guaranteed kills on heroes like Brewmaster, who need to get that big, long cast animation
Bottom
off.
lane.
Now, Smash is being flanked on up. They're actually looking for him. They can't see him because of the nighttime, but now the Nightmare comes on through, looking to skewer him with this positioning right on into Puppey. They kind of miscoordinate a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Without him having that Primal Roar, or Primal Split, sorry, he's always going to be able to, he's not going to be able to get out of that kind of position. Meanwhile, Lone Druid on the mid, that combination, the Juggernaut and the Lone Druid Bear, just destroying the tower very, very swiftly, and putting a lot of gold on the board for Na'Vi. I
was about to say, if you're Masuku, you need to be a little bit better anticipating the push and be in position with Illuminate. Problem is, he doesn't even have boot, so it's not even not anticipating, it's physically hobbling over and being too slow at that. And now Dendi, 1,000 gold, 900 gold away from his Blink. Na'Vi will group up and push bottom. And like I said, they're just going to start mowing down the tier 1s. Even earlier than I thought they might wait for the Blink, but don't really need to, so this makes even more sense. They could even force tier 2s, and it's only a level 4 Keeper of the Light. Artyk are in so much trouble right now. It's kind of unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what they do, to be honest. I'm thinking this through. Maybe they can catch a retreating hero, but actually engaging into Na'Vi is virtually suicide. Anyone who walks in will just get slept, then stunned, then RP'd or Laguna. And everybody's going to be at full HP anyway, so yeah, here we go.
Just like this, we start off with that full light strike rate falling on through the RP onto 2. Mystico can't do anything about this, just has to run for the hills. He will get over to the high ground, but the supports fall, the Beastmaster falls, and now the tier 2 tower will be claimed as well. This overwhelming advantage. Right now, it's looking like they're moving in towards almost like a shutout. It's 10-0 as far as kills. They did lose one of their towers, but they've claimed so many more.
Oh, he was just out of range for either a sleep or a fiend script. I think he was going to start with the sleep there. Mid-cast animation, gets fogged, not able to complete it, or might have just been out of range at that. And so I think it was fogged, though. And now Dendy has his blink. 10-0. Like you said, they could be pitching a shutout this game. They can head towards top, take the tier 1 there. They could even just take the tier 2 mid. And the reason that Artyk wasn't fighting was twofold. First of all, can't really fight anyway. And secondly, Panda didn't have his ultimate. That's why he wasn't there. So before anyone flames Smash, I mean, end of the day, he didn't have level 6, only so much he can do. And now Na'Vi barreling straight down mid. This could be 6 towers at 15 minutes at the rate we're headed.
Exactly. Yeah, they have full control of this situation. They can easily do that. And up against a keeper light, no less. I mean, Misoku is, even without boots, moving into a position where he can break down on half the creep wave, but another one arrives to reinforce it. And they have this bear just chomping on down. Almost to an armlet himself, he can do so much. And they're just trying as best they can to do any long-range harassment damage with it. Although the boar finally kills off that healing ward, the tower does fall. Skewer coming in from Dandy, bursting down Misoku, and the light strike ray hits on Mihawk as well. That's enough to finish it off, and actually does roar out on Puppy, so a little bit of damage coming that way. Might be able to clean it up, might be able to kill Dendy, body block, and there is that ultimate from the Juggernaut, bursting it down, the shockwave to finish it. Kurokai taking some hits, but killed that Fire Panda, and there's nothing more to say. Does look like Nina got picked up by that Illuminate, but nevertheless, they're surviving well, and they're going to turn around the Brewmaster in just a few seconds.
Oh, he dead. He very dead. This Brewmaster in a lot of trouble right now.
He does get the crit. He gets a crit from the Drunken Brawler walking away. There is no Nightmare, there is no Brain Sap. And with that, they do actually claim a second kill.
With that crit, maybe not dead. Looks like he's in trouble, but RP here on Masuku.
Yep, RP committed solo on this Keeper Light. A little bit, really, really zealous in trying to bring that down. But nevertheless, Dendy on the run, trying to get out of there, but the boar can slow him down so much, and he doesn't have mana for TP for a long, long time. So getting closed on in, this last clap, connecting, will seal his fate here. And that is actually a really good turnaround for them. That's 4 kills. All 4 kills that they've acquired just now have been in this last engagement. So I gotta say, Artyk biting back.
Yep, they gave up their tier 2 mid. Then they just gonna buy back to go farm bottom. Sure, why the hell not? Buyback actually isn't that expensive at this point of the game, so not really a big deal, but RP is on cooldown. Generally, you just want to chill at base when that's the case. Artyk, yes, they take that good fight. Panda gets close to his blink off of that. That's the one thing really going their way. But for me, it's really a bad sign when you Panda ult and they don't run.
Exactly.
Na'Vi got Panda ulted and they're just like, sure, let's fight in the Panda ult. That's how far ahead they are.
Yeah.
And at this point, Dendy just pushing the lanes up by himself. If there's a blink on this Panda, maybe they're worried. They even have a roar. If they could kill him right now, oh, yeah, Dendy.
Down on it. They almost get it, but the animation timed with the blink. He actually blinks to the south, runs to the west, but he has that skewer. And, of course, the movement speed advantage, because Beastmaster's still on brown boots, trying to build up that mechanism before he actually goes for mobility items. And as such, he just can't connect. They go on a wild goose chase, but in the meantime, losing this tower up on top. And they're running out of towers to lose, honestly.
That's a great point. They really are running out of towers to lose, but I can't really fault Artyk. They need the blink on Smash until they have it, and they need the Panda ult as well, which still has a minute to cooldown. Very, very long cooldown. Second really only to Enigma as far as the big teamfight ultimates go, but I mean, even then at level 1 it's the same.
Sure.
Very, very long cooldown. 3 minutes at that, and here comes the push. I think they forfeit this one as well. Then I think Na'Vi puts up some aggressive wards, goes Roche. And maybe they could fight the Roche, but they're not fighting this tower. It's already dead.
Yeah, they're drawing the line in the sand at their tier 3 as they can't lose high ground here, but I think Na'Vi wants to test that theory and go in for the Roche. Or actually, they're still on top lane. They're still willing to go and try to actually go in all here. There is going to be the Illuminate damage. The healing ward still sticking around for a few more seconds here, and they're actually going to go up on the top area here. Dendy has that blink. Looking to use it, looking to find the opening.
Ewo got Fiend Script, low ground to high ground. I think Hiroki was saying Dendy blink skewer him out of the base.
No, they're going Laguna Blade onto Mihawk, bursting him down before the roar comes out. Maybe the mechanism keeps him alive though, and Havoke's in a bad position, but the Entangled says otherwise. Mihawk does get that roar off, but there's the double RP. Dandy looking to skewer, finds his opportunity, puts them both into the frying pan. Going off the Brewmaster ulti does come on through. Kurokai might drop down. but nevertheless, they've already taken 3 out of this fight. Ewo gonna try to clean it up on Havost here. Gonna go into Open Wounds, only rank 1. He can't get any slows. He just gets bursted by Lina. Havost does get stunned out, but he is gonna go on the run. No, turning it around. He has the spin. He's surviving with Magic Wand. He's baiting it out, and Ewo might just fall. Gets entangled up. The right clicks come on through, and he does die in the end. All of them fall, and they go in for the tier 3, go in for the kill.
And they have Healing Ward, and that's GG. That Root Gaming, too much. The bear never died. If they had a farmed lifestealer, he could have killed the bear, at least drived it back. Wasn't the case. They needed a fat lifestealer. They gave up too many kills early. But you gotta say, Na'Vi, they put together a more signature performance this game. Sloppy in game 1, but took the win, and now in game 2, kind of back to their old tricks. I felt really like Artyk was very heavily outdrafted this game, to be totally honest, though. Too many counters to a one carry lineup. A very heavily counter lineup, and also on top of that, light on stuns. Had Roar and Panda ult, that's pretty much it as far as true disable. So in the end, Na'Vi, they'll sneak their way out of Group A, but they made it as hard as possible for themselves. First dropping 1 game to Artyk in their initial match, in their round 1 match, and then losing the series to Mouse, taking it the distance, and then even in that game 1 earlier in this series, you know, making it a lot closer for Artyk than you really felt it should be. So you gotta say, this is a Na'Vi team that, yes, they advance, Blaze, but not playing like the Na'Vi that we've all come to expect over the years.
Oh, baiting it out. Puppy's just chilling out here. Laguna Blade comes. That was hilarious. It was just Mystico staying in the game and trying to bait it out where, like, oh, he's going to kill the AFK Puppy who's just standing there, and then immediately sends in a full array of spells right in his face and brings him down. That was hilarious. Nevertheless, yeah, that's pretty much like you were talking about the draft. I don't feel it was the strongest representation of what they could have brought to the table here. I mean, they didn't even get off their ground as far as levels. The Brewmaster, yeah, he had disables when he used his Primal Split, but like you said, they were very, very fearless about that position that they went into. And I look at his current skill build. Drunken Haze is not skilled up whatsoever. He went for stats, and that's a great build for Brewmaster, but it assumes you're going to get early experience. Without having any Drunken Haze, you know, you're just going to get right-clicked down like crazy by the bear. That's where Root Gaming comes in. And as such, you know,
He actually didn't take stats. He just didn't have any extra levels. He maxed Drunken Brawler, but I agree. He could have taken some points at Drunken Haze. I don't really think that's why Artyk lose this game, though. No. I feel like it's much more just better lanes from Na'Vi, better movement from their supports early, and just an outdraft, to be totally honest. I mean, I don't often say a team got outdrafted, but Artyk had the kind of lineup that Lifestealer has to get really fat, and you have to do well in your other 2 lanes. Like, Beastmaster has to at least do decently mid, and then your Brewmaster has to have a very early blink. That didn't happen. Came down to the movement of Na'Vi, and then from there, hey, Na'Vi move on. So, exciting for the Na'Vi fans out there, but they made their fans their hearts race. So, Blaze, that actually wraps it up for us for today.
Exactly, exactly. Nice series of series with the matches coming out through here, but in the end, Na'Vi is able to go on. That is, what is that, a second place decider? So they are moving on second place, moving on up out of the group stage. And what's up for our friends Artyk here? Are they going to be knocked out as a result?
Yeah, Artyk, unfortunately, they go home. They're 3rd place in the group, but only 8 teams from this round of 16 go on to the playoffs. The playoffs will be a straight double elimination bracket. So now it's going to be Mouse going in as a 1 seed and Na'Vi as a 2, which means somebody may have to play Na'Vi who is thinking, man, shouldn't they be a 1 seed? Shouldn't I not have to play them until later on? This could throw things into a bit of a funk as far as the actual matchups for the first round of the brackets. But a well-deserved win from Na'Vi, and I gotta say for Mouse, I feel like Na'Vi just doesn't respect Black in terms of his Phantom Lancer, because they gave it away a few times today, really cost them in the end. With all that being said, guys, thank you all for joining us. I'm LD, he's Blaze. If you're not familiar with him, he's an up-and-coming caster. He's been doing the Premier League. I think he's been casting for like 8 months now, Blaze, maybe a little bit less.
8 or 9.
But it's great to have you aboard. Hope you're doing more content for Beyond the Summit. I hope you guys enjoyed his casting. If you have any constructive feedback, you can, of course, leave it for him in the chat. But he is working hard to improve, as, of course, are we all at Beyond the Summit. Plenty of work for all of us. But if you enjoy his casting, be sure to follow him. He has kind of a low number of followers in my book. Should have a lot more. So that's twitter.com/BlazeCasting for him. And as for me, twitter.com/LDDota. But you guys probably already know that. So, yeah, Blaze, thanks for casting today. You're doing a few more games tomorrow, but you also have TPL.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be covering up what I can there. At least a full best-of-3 series, and then probably a couple games of the next one to follow. So we have some pretty interesting teams in Group B there. So I know we have Alliance, a.k.a. No Tidehunter. Who else is in that group?
God, that name's horrible.
It's not the best.
I actually called them NTH in my Reddit post today, because I'm like, nobody really knows who the Alliance is. Like, even people who saw the Reddit thread probably forgot. I would have like do a double take, but yeah, it's no tide or the Alliance if you really want to call them that. And who else is in the group? I think Fnatic EU, and then 2 sort of lesser known teams as well. So that'll be Group B. That happens tomorrow, and we'll start an hour earlier. Tomorrow's going to start at 14 CST. We also have the G1 League North American European qualifiers, which begin, I would even say tomorrow. They begin in like 10 hours. So I actually don't remember the matchups offhand, but those will be on twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit. So if you want to check those out, tune in about 12. It's about 10 hours time. I got to actually get some rest real soon after this. And then we'll have We Play Dota 2 action later on that evening. Or later on tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Awesome to be able to cast this up here, and of course, looking forward to the matches that we get to look into tomorrow. So, pretty cool game, but yeah, as you said, Navi is advancing here, and it looks like Mystico wants a little bit more time in the spotlight here, just counter pushing out. Is there a way we can do console work or something to end out the game early?
No, I think we're fine. You can just leave, to be totally honest. I'll get a screenshot of the end game scoreboard from the stat screen. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this evening. So thank you all for tuning in. This is going to be LD and Blaze, signing off.
See you guys. Thanks for tuning in.